Robert said something was stupid. And Harrison said, that is a bad word, Robert. You are not supposed to say stupid. And Robert said, that's not a bad word. You want to hear a real bad word? And Harrison goes, yeah. And Robert says, fuck.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Your Childhood Drama. We had such a ball shooting the first 3 episodes, and well, it's been a little while, but decided it was time to continue on. Now, from here on out, Watchtower is jumping all over history with their dramas.
People assume that time is a strict progression of cause to effect, but actually, from a non-linear, non-subjective viewpoint, it's more like a big ball of wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey stuff.
And so they're not really in any chronological order. Like, after the Israelites made it to the Promised Land and everything else, then they decided, well, let's do some prequels. Let's do some distant sequels. Let's just do random stuff, and let's rehash what we've done. So, starting with this, the 4th episode of Your Childhood Drama, we're not going to be doing the episodes in the order in which Watchtower released them. We're just doing whatever. And, you know, what better way to pass the time while you're self-isolating or cocooning than to get together with a friend of mine and yours, the one and only Brigette Pfister. We had a lot of fun with YCD number 2. And I'm just so glad that you agreed to do another one.
Thank you very much. Yeah, we had so much fun doing the first one. And the deal with this drama is that I was actually in this drama when I was a Jehovah's Witness as a teenager. So yeah, this one's a little special to me.
Aww. I hope that you will regale us with stories about the rehearsal and
oh, of course.
everything else. So just at the outset, tell us, who did you play in this drama?
I played Sally, the 13-year-old girl who is too young to get baptized.
Oh.
I was actually 15 when I played the role. And I don't really know why they asked me to do it. I guess because they knew that I liked performing arts in high school and they could see me headed out of the truth already. Too much independent thinking, I guess. And so, you know, they thought, oh, well, you know, one brother said to me, you can use those talents for Jehovah. And so I was like, oh, okay. So I was in the drama and I learned that Jehovah's Witness acting is not acting. Like, you don't even get to say the lines.
Yeah, because like it's not your voice. You're sitting there and gesturing wildly and ridiculously.
Huge gestures.
So that everybody in the arena can see you.
Yeah.
Or know that you're the one talking.
Right, exactly.
Or not talking.
The one pretending to talk.
Yeah.
Hello? Can we talk later? This is not a good time for me. Just a moment. I've got a call waiting. Hello? Yes? Can I call you back? I am on the other line. Uh-huh. Yes. He received a Sports Illustrated football phone.
It just, you know, there were moments of like thinking back on it. Blame it on the rain. Yeah, yeah. Right.
Oh boy.
My husband's closing the doors. Am I too loud?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
You're singing.
I will stop singing. I'm sorry.
Leslie.
I'm in trouble. I'm keeping everybody away.
Oh. So, okay. So let's dive into this drama. So this drama is called Doing What Is Right in Jehovah's Eyes. As I was listening to it, I honestly felt as the drama went on that it was more and more this giant PSA for, please get baptized. We need the numbers.
Get baptized. Get baptized now. You have no excuse. Go get baptized.
Yeah, do it. Just do it.
Do it.
And we have a new narrator in this drama, A very recognizable voice, because this was the man that read the Listen to the Great Teacher book on audio cassette.
Oh, vomit.
Same guy. And he kind of sounds like this sort of sweet old grandpa in some ways.
Like a storm blowing an ill wind across the face of the earth, people everywhere today are swept along with the diabolical spirit of doing what is right in their own eyes.
Which, okay, fine. Not quite as bombastic or whatever as like certain other dramas.
Jehovah's judgments against law-defying people are always carried out. But he never fails to give warning in advance. As the prophet Amos says, "For the sovereign Lord Jehovah will not do a thing unless he has revealed his confidential matter to his servants the prophets."
But in the end, I wonder if Watchtower is going for like this look of, oh, see, it's grandpa talking to you kids, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You heard
That's
me on
exactly
the
what it was.
Teacher. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and right out of the starting gate, I have my notes here. He talks about the world and how everybody is doing what is right in their own eyes. And in sharp contrast, Jehovah's Witnesses, and then I had to hold my nose because the bullshit really started flying. Yeah, in sharp contrast, Jehovah's Witnesses are always focused on doing what's right in Jehovah's eyes. And the thought that I had was,
right.
Okay, if you're doing what's right in Jehovah's eyes and you're covering up all this stuff and you're condoning all kinds of behavior,
Jehovah's not a real nice guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And how would they know what's right in Jehovah's eyes? Like, how would they actually claim to know, since he is silent and invisible? Like, how would they know?
And okay, I got introduced to a YouTube channel called Dark Matter 2525.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy, he's an atheist, and he's done all kinds of awesome animated videos about like biblical events and everything. And just as you watch it, and just as he kind of like lays it out literally how the Bible describes it, you're watching it and you're thinking like, this is fucked up on so many levels.
Yes, it's true.
So yeah.
It's a little wackadoo. Mm-hmm.
If they're doing what's right, damn. Yeah. And he goes on to say, to avoid spiritual calamity. Spiritual calamity, that phrase just cracks me up. He says you have to fear Jehovah and trust him to help us do what is right. And I thought, because that's working out so well for you so far?
Evidently. I mean,
there's one of those words, evidently, without a doubt.
Right? Surely, brothers.
And don't call me Shirley.
Right. Sorry about that.
Yeah. But yeah. So fear Jehovah, trust in him to help you do what's right. Give up all your free will, and Jehovah will never lead you astray. He'll never make you cover up child pedophiles, or he'll never make you do this and that and the other thing that is like a human rights violation.
Well, right, but do they never think about the fact that fear and trust don't actually go together? Fear and love don't actually go together. Like, if you're afraid of someone, you're not likely to trust them or love them. Like, those things are not compatible.
It's very true. Like, I remember them trying to justify this and say that like the fear of Jehovah is not like a morbid fear, but it's a fear of displeasing him. Like, a husband might not want to displease his wife or vice versa.
Like a Jehovah's Witness husband's gonna care.
Yeah. I mean, let's face it, like if you're married, the last thing you want to do is piss off your partner, right? But like, do you fear that person, or do you just love them and like, I don't want to piss you off?
Right. I mean, it's a I don't want to piss you off. It's not I'm afraid of you. Like, if I were afraid of my husband, he wouldn't be my husband. Like, I wouldn't still be here. And I don't think he's afraid of me. I don't really know.
Well, you know, he did
I
just
hope
come in and
not.
tell you to stop singing, so
He wasn't afraid to tell me to stop singing. That's true.
yeah.
Well, actually, he didn't tell me to stop singing. He just closed the door.
I can honestly tell you this. I did live in fear of my ex-wife. Like I preferred to stay at home as opposed to coming, or no, sorry. I preferred to stay at work as opposed to coming home.
Right.
And when the workday was over.
Being afraid of someone, did you feel trust for that person?
Oh God, no.
I rest my case.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
And I'm so sorry you had to go through that. That sucks.
It does. It's not healthy. So,
Mm-mm.
but this is the kind of relationship really that that Watchtower wants witnesses to have with Jehovah, and this is really the kind of, if you take the biblical narrative as being like an actual sort of history book, this is basically what Jehovah is saying he wants, he, she, it wants you to feel about him, her, it.
Right. Well, they're modeling, like, think about this though. They're modeling Almighty God as an abusive husband.
Yes. Yep.
That's effed up. I mean, that is messed up for real. That's wrong.
Yeah.
Squirrel.
Even on the last drama that we went through, and we talked about like how Jehovah was like this abusive husband and everything. Like it just continues on, like, and so it kind of helps you to understand sort of the culture of abuse within Jehovah's Witnesses.
Right.
Yeah, because like they're just imitating the God that they worship in the end.
Mm-hmm.
So this drama is dedicated to pushing people into getting baptized and selling their souls, futures,
yeah,
to Watchtower. Jehovah. Yeah. So here's what I really love. The narrator, this is like exact quote. He goes, "The setting, an assembly hall during the session intermission. The time, the summer of 1991. Like, why is that so important? Like, why the summer of 91?
Oddly specific.
Yeah, like, that's really what's important. That's why it's relevant. If it was the summer of 1990,
it was right before Darmok and Jalad at Tanagra.
Darmok and Jalad at Tanagra.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
I'm just saying, I have the t-shirt.
that is awesome. That is so awesome. I'm so jealous of that t-shirt, by the way.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, I'm so envious. And we have all of these youngsters that are sitting here, I guess, like Timmy. God bless us, everyone. Has just gotten baptized. And Timmy and Tommy. Really?
Yeah. Actually, that was my uncle's names. My mother's two brothers were named Timmy and Tommy.
Really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
See, this was the part you were born to play, apparently.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So Tommy is congratulating Timmy on getting baptized. He's like, yeah, I got your picture on the camera and everything else. And then along comes, is it like a circuit overseer?
I think so.
Yeah. Brother
An elder
Shepherd.
of some kind.
Yeah. Brother Shepherd. And the way in which he greets Timmy. Praise it. Jehovah's blessings, Timothy. Because that's how we all say hello to each other, right?
Did you ever hear anyone actually greet someone that way?
No.
Me either. Like, they would have been counseled for that.
Mm-hmm. All right, everyone, all together, turn to the person next to you and say, Jehovah's blessings, insert name here. Yeah, just walk down the street greeting people that way and just see how long it is before the men in the white jackets show
Right.
up.
Well, there was a sister in our congregation who used to say, "Oh, Jehovah," and I remember one of the elders saying something to her about, Jehovah's name is not a swear word, Sister Fredericks.
Oh, I'm just remembering something now. You're going to love this. Okay. Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Oh, I love that movie.
You know, the climax of the movie when he has to go through all of those trials, and one of them is to spell the name of God.
Yeah. Oh, but what is it in Latin? Jehovah starts with an I.
Aye, right? So when this movie was shown on TV, Indy, he's like, the name of God, and he says like, Jehovah. They silenced that part right out.
Name of God. But in the Latin alphabet, it begins with an I.
As if it was a swear word.
Who did?
The network that was showing
really?
it here did. You saw Indy mouth the words.
That's hilarious.
Yep. So
Wow.
that's a dirty word, apparently. It's just one of the ones you can't say on TV.
Oh boy.
And this is at the same time that they started to relax some of the rules around like some of the dirty words that you could say. Like they started to allow like bitch and bastard and stuff into television, but apparently was still unallowed.
You can't say.
Yeah. So yeah. So then they start going on about, what is it? That supposedly this year, this is like the largest number of ones that they've seen baptized since 1974.
Mm-hmm.
And the first thought I had was, oh, do you mean back when there was like that whole scare about 1975?
Like stay alive till 75? Yeah. Like then.
Are they acknowledging that 15 years later or something?
Seems like it. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So, but then, what is it? So Timmy is, riding the spiritual high and everything. Tommy's a little bit, he's in a tricky spot because both of his parents stopped studying and he's been coming all by himself. And this is...
I'm not even going to touch that.
Oh, I am. So the circuit overseer says, "You've been coming all by yourself, Tommy." And the thought that I had was, so when he says that, then Tommy's like, "Well, to be honest, I've been using a pillow. It's not entirely by myself."
How about a brother rubbing his genitals against a pillow? Yes, that practice will make you happy.
Oh, that is bad.
I went there.
You sure did.
Hashtag sorry, not sorry.
That is pretty funny. Oh my God.
And then there's like the whole discussion about like, I'm afraid to get baptized because I just don't want to let Jehovah down.
Oh, I just don't want to be shunned forever if I screw up.
Yeah.
Which is inevitable.
That's the thought that I had too. It's like, or maybe you want to stop and think about the lifelong commitment with really tremendously harsh repercussions if you change your mind. Like
you don't actually know what the rules are?
Mm-hmm. Or if the contract that you're signing changes on the fly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep. So.
And there's no exit clause.
You are now the property of the governing body. We own you.
Might want to think about that.
Oh, but no, see, Brigette, you're just wrong. It's people's own choices. I mean, Jeffrey Jackson said so.
Oh, well, if Jeffrey Jackson said it, it must be true.
It must be true. I mean, it's on the internet. Brother Shepherd, the circuit overseer, says, well, you get baptized because a good relationship with Jehovah is the most important thing. Like, apparently that's like until you get baptized, like you just can't be Jehovah's friend or something. Like,
I don't know. I wonder how many people were like me when I was little and got baptized because I was 11. I wonder how many people thought that when they got dunked and came up out of the water that something would be different and that they would have more of a relationship. Maybe they were doing it because they wanted some sort of contact from Jehovah, and it never happened.
I actually, I was baptized at the age of 14. Ironically enough, the same age as the character Helen here. But when I was going to get baptized, yeah, there was a certain part of me that wondered if I would like feel different afterwards.
Mhm.
And I think I wanted to feel like something had changed.
Yeah.
So that for the rest of the day, I was telling myself like, yeah, you're a completely different person now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, all of your sins have been washed away. And at least for the time being, you haven't sinned on Jehovah's books.
So sad.
I know.
Because think about like yourself at 14, myself at 11. What the hell kind of sins had we committed in the first place?
I told my brother to fuck off while in service. Does that count?
That's awesome. I love it. I wish I'd done that.
I was 5 years old. 5 years old. I told my brother to fuck off in service.
So we had our first F-bomb dropped a couple weeks ago in the house by one of the small people.
Mm.
So my husband's sitting at the table with them, and Harrison said, Robert said something was stupid. And Harrison said, that is a bad word, Robert. You are not supposed to say stupid. And Robert said, that's not a bad word. You want to hear a real bad word? And Harrison goes, yeah. And Robert says, fuck. I don't know what it means, though.
That's funny.
It was quite entertaining.
That is funny.
Yeah. Les was like, you shouldn't say that and ever.
You can't say fuck in school, you fucking fat ass.
Kyle!
Why the fuck not?
Eric!
Dude, you just said fuck again.
Stanley!
Fuck.
Kenny!
What's the big deal? It doesn't hurt anybody. Fuck, fuckity, fuck, fuck, fuck.
Well, I've often joked that if I ever had kids, that before they got to school, I would teach them the bathroom is always called the shitter. So that when they get to school and they have to go to the bathroom, teacher, I need to go to the shitter. Ladies and gentlemen, I should not be a father. Well, either that or something clean, like, I need to go to the poop and blow, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Evolved into potty training. Let's get back to the real bullshit.
Yeah. So, okay, so we have Sally doesn't speak too much before the drama starts.
She just stands there.
Yeah, like a potted plant kind of thing.
Very much so.
This pioneer sister named Helen, she says something that kind of like twerked my ears in a weird way. She says, the fact that I was baptized and dedicated kept me safe in school. It kept her from doing bad things. And I thought, you know what? If that was even remotely true, then all of these elders that like are found to be molesting children,
Mm-hmm.
apparently the baptism's just not working on them. Maybe the water was off on that day, and
yeah, contaminated perhaps.
Maybe maybe somebody had like something in their mouth and they just bit down on it as they were going under, and it dyed the water and just polluted everything.
No, somebody peed in the baptismal pool.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
Wig. You sons of bitches.
That's what it was. Maybe they had coronavirus.
Oh, see, that could be it.
I don't know. I got nothing.
So all of the kids, like, you know, they're talking about like all of their doubts with regards to like getting baptized and why. It's like, I feel like I'm too young, or I got all these problems and everything. Brother Shepherd whips out his Bible, and I get this mental picture of him having it in a holster for some reason. Well, kids.
This was before the silver sword, so it would have been like it was after the green Bible, though. It was like maybe maroon.
One of the maroon or brown swords.
Yes.
Yeah. He's gonna Bible bomb them with his favorite story, and they're like, "Oh, let me guess what it is. Oh, could it be the story of David and Goliath?" No. Could it be the story of no kids? It's Josiah. Josiah.
Your favorite story? Let me guess. Samson?
David and Goliath.
No, Josiah. The story of King Josiah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he kind of gives us like a 50,000-foot overview of the high points of what we're about to be subjected to.
Mm-hmm.
And all of the kids feel the need to repeat this stuff right before the crazy music starts. You know, all you kids in the audience, pay close attention. He was how old? Like, at least Sally gets the last word in.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have to ask you about this.
Yeah.
Okay, before we get into the biblical part of it. What was rehearsal for this like for you?
Oh, Lord. Okay, so we had to rehearse for weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And we rehearsed at one of the local Kingdom Halls, but it was not our Kingdom Hall. It was the, I think it was a South Congregation, North Congregation. I don't know. Anyway, so we would go into this Kingdom Hall. It was decorated in like that powder blue mauve scheme that was so popular at the time. And they had those metal chairs with the canvasy looking cushions that they would all stack on top of each other. So they push all the chairs back against the wall. And so the main part of the Kingdom Hall was the stage that we practiced on. And it was really weird because, you know, you had three or four people who played Josiah. So you had a bunch of brothers that were the Josiahs, and then you had the modern day people, and it was just a strange group.
But tonight, you will all be transformed from dead-eyed suburbanites into white-hot grease fires of pure entertainment. Except you're not working out. I'll be playing your part. Drag.
Of people put together, and people who had never acted and didn't know stage directions, like the people directing didn't know. So it was just really weird and awkward. Like, yeah. That part of it was just really, after a while it was boring because we kept going over the same thing over and over again. And it wasn't really challenging or interesting at all.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was like, okay, take 2 steps this way. Turn more that way. Make a wild gesture. It's just weird. You would lose several hours of your Saturday for weeks, you know, doing this. And then, I mean, probably I could have played that part with no rehearsal.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, it's walk on, stand there and rapidly listen to Brother Shepherd, pretend to say a few words, you know, act like a little kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hours and hours for, I believe, maybe 5 to 6 minutes of this drama.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And there was no, like, you don't have to come to this one, or we're not going to go over your part. It was, you have to be there the whole time for everything. So, yeah, I got real sick of that drama, actually.
I could imagine. I could only imagine. So, and did you have to sign an NDA saying that you wouldn't reveal?
No, but we weren't supposed to talk about it.
The first rule of Fight Club is you do not talk about Fight Club.
You know, we weren't supposed to give it away what the drama was.
The second rule of Fight Club is you do not talk about Fight Club.
What do they think this was? Like Back to the Future Part 3 or something that they were making? Like
a Michael Jackson video. I don't know. Well, we had a few moments, though, because when they did dress rehearsals, you know, and everybody had to try on their costumes. It was funny because we had, you know, Josiah had lots of gold lame and purple robes. And so there was this one brother that my mother, he was a regular pioneer in our congregation. And my mother was just insistent that he liked me and that we, you know, we're going to end up together, whatever. So I was 15 and he was like 21. And when I look back, he was the most flaming homosexual I believe I've ever met. Like, there ain't no way that boy was interested in nothing like me. Like, ever. Like, he was flaming. And I just remember being in rehearsal and looking at him in that purple and gold robe and going, huh. He was also the Josiah that had to sing the song.
Oh, okay. Yep.
And when he had to sit there and pantomime the harp singing that song, we laughed, like everybody laughed, and it became like this running joke. So every time he had to do that part, everybody would just lose it. And so finally, he came and said something like, guys, this is really hard to do when you guys are all like falling over laughing. Can you please try not, or if you're going to laugh, like go outside. But
did he sing the words to "Could you please"?
No, but I still remember that. Examine me, oh Jehovah, and put me to the test. And he's like playing this fake harp.
Oh God. Oh man.
It was pretty funny. Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna come to that in a little bit here. Now, speaking of music.
Yes.
This music, when they switched from the assembly hall to the, I was like, what is this music? I'm half expecting a genie to pop out of a lamp as I'm hearing this.
Yeah.
You ain't never had a friend like me, Josiah. Oh my God. I don't even know where that came from. But we get so now we meet Josiah and his childhood friend Enan, and they're like 8 years old, and I can vaguely recall this. They were doing some kind of a tug of war on the stage, like at least at my convention. I don't know.
I think, yeah.
Yeah, and the way in which these two boys are talking to each other, I'm just thinking to myself, are you two even human? Like,
I'm stronger than you, Josiah. You are not, Enan. Yes, I am. A toothless dog has more pulling strength than you, Enan. Wrong, my lord.
Like, what is this?
I'm trying to remember this part. It's been so long.
It's absolutely bonkers the way they're talking to each other, because you have like, what is it? Enan is trash talking Josiah, basically trying to call him a weakling, and Josiah is trying to put up this thing like, no, I will win, and all the rest of this, and like, oh my God. The best part is
very stilted.
The best part is because Josiah is king, even though they're friends, Enan has to call him my lord, but he does it in the most sarcastic way possible.
My lord.
That's the one. Brigette. Yeah. So what I'm thinking is that as they were recording this, I wonder if the same director that directed Miriam
from the last one. Oh yeah.
I mean, you did such a great job last time, brother. That Miriam, she was so convincing.
I don't want to drink more water.
Yes, exactly. You were so convincing. We really felt like we were there. If you wouldn't mind doing this again, my lord. Oh, it's brilliant. Only with Jehovah's help could we have had such a great performance.
We're going to be better than Disney.
Mm-hmm. Eat your heart out, Hollywood. So Enan is the son of Pasher, one of the priests.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
my uncle played Pasher.
Okay. My old man Bruce played Pasher.
Oh.
Yeah. There was this long running joke afterwards, because Bruce was serving as a ministerial servant at the time.
Mm-hmm.
people said of him, like, oh, so you get to play the bad priest, do you? You know, they often say that people get to play the parts that they wish they could be the most.
I don't think so.
What a bizarre joke to make.
That's weird.
Mm-hmm. But I do remember, like you said, like hours on end on a Saturday. Yep,
Yeah.
he was off rehearsing. And I remember Bruce and Robin having to go shopping for sandals for his costume, but they weren't allowed to have any buckles they had to be buckles. You couldn't have Velcro. You also had to make sure that they were genuine leather to, like, you know, keep the authenticity.
Yeah. As if any of this was authentic in any way whatsoever.
As if anybody watching would give a damn.
Or even be able to see it. I mean, you were literally the size of a postage stamp to most of the audience.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they didn't even have screens back then. You were like this big on the bottom of the stadium.
Way down there. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So, but yeah, he had to, as the years go on and the drama and Pasher ages, they had like a wig that they put on him so they could gray his hair. And I remember in the afternoon after the session or after the drama was over, he's sitting in the chair and he still had like some of the glue from the wig still on his ear. Yeah. But Pasher is described by Hilkiah, the good priest. So we have the dark side and the light side here. I'm going to start referring to Pasher as Vader for crying out loud, because good Lord. Pasher has what Hilkiah describes as outstanding abilities.
Ooh.
And I got thinking, like, so magic? Like, is the force strong with him? Right? Like, can he force choke someone? Does he shoot lightning out of his hands? Like, yeah. You know? Enan, this is not the altar you're looking for. Like, so after after Enan leaves, Hilkiah is having a bit of a shepherding call with young Josiah, and he's dictating who he can be friends with. You know, like that Enan, he's got some problems, but if you are friends with a Hykim, I can't remember who the hell all these people are. You know, he's got real love for Jehovah, and you know, like as long as people have like a real love for Jehovah, then that's really who you should be friends with. Like,
well, wait a minute. They're not, it doesn't matter if you like enjoy being with them or if they're interesting or they like you or you like them. No, it's how do they feel about Jehovah?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think that's a basis for friendship.
I don't think so either. Like,
Stefan, how do you feel about Jehovah? I don't know if we can be friends.
I can't stand him. Her.
Oh, okay, we're fine then.
But like honestly, some of the most garbage human beings that I've ever known have been people that profess to have like this great love for Jehovah.
Yep.
People that you would not want to encounter in a dark alley.
Mm-hmm.
And these ones have a love for Jehovah. People who are bullies or just downright mean. Oh, but they love Jehovah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, loving Jehovah is about doing stuff in the congregation. It's about having a position. It's about, you know, what you look like and what people think of you. It's not really about Jehovah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's about how you look, how you appear.
Or how much people think you love Jehovah.
Right.
Yeah.
Or how good you are at posturing or how many hours you spend in the ministry or whatever. Yeah.
How in-depth are your comments? How long are your prayers? If you can say a 15-minute marathon prayer, you must really love Jehovah.
Oh, yeah, man.
Yeah. So, and they even start to go into examples from Josiah's ancestry, because he's king. So in the Davidic line, you know, like David had like an earnest allegiance to Jehovah. So we won't talk about that Bathsheba incident then?
David was a dickwagon. I'm sorry.
He was.
He was a horrible person, and he got away with it. And I don't care what they say about how David was severely punished. No, he wasn't. Nothing happened to him. He stayed king. You know who got punished? His wives, his children, the baby, Bathsheba, everybody but David.
Yeah.
He got off scot-free.
Like, at the most, David was embarrassed.
Yep.
But and they even talk about like how like the true source of David's strength was Jehovah. So apparently he was like Samson then, just, you know, Jehovah waved his magic wand and gave him all kinds of powers. Like, you know, you don't think he maybe worked out a fair bit, or, you know, like because he was a shepherd? Like, I don't know. No,
that's
Built
the
up
weird
them
thing.
pipes.
David was Jehovah's friend. So Jehovah is friends with rapists and murderers. I mean, like, is he condoning rape and murder? Because that's pretty much what David did.
Yep.
That's what's being glorified. I don't get it.
Well, he was a great musician.
Evidently.
I can't say that and keep a straight face.
Something of a dancer, I hear? I don't know.
So I even got thinking, like, they talked about like the fight with Goliath. You know, I'm coming to you with the name of Jehovah. Well, just imagine for a moment, like, the election is later this year. Imagine if, like, whoever the Democratic candidate turns out to be stares down Trump. Fingers crossed. Imagine the Democratic candidate stares down Trump and says, see if I can do my best Bernie impression. I'm coming to you on behalf of the other 99%. No, see, that's not a good Bernie impression, but I'm coming to you with the name of Jehovah.
Yeah. Jehovah.
Yeah.
No.
Trump looks at him. Yeah, and?
We've got some very good names. We've got some great names. We've got the greatest names.
Make your head spin.
Bigly.
Oh
God.
How about another one that's even more topical, like current events? So when this is being recorded, folks, it's right in the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Yeah, we're all quarantined.
Imagine a health professional trying to treat a patient with COVID-19. Jehovah! They don't seem to be cured.
No.
Maybe I wasn't saying it loud enough.
No. How about this? Okay, so a friend of mine, who I will not out him here in case he doesn't want me to, but a friend of mine was studying with the witnesses for some time because his wife was a witness. And so he was studying and he had lots of questions. He's something of a biblical scholar. And so he starts messing with this brother's head. Like, he's asking him questions like that the guy can't answer. And so finally the brother who was studying with him just said, Jehovah, Jehovah. Like, started screaming Jehovah. And I was like, dude, what did you do? He said, well, I started laughing and then I started screaming Jehovah back at him. Because evidently the guy thought he was demonized if he could, you know, ask those questions and, like, you know, make him so unsure of himself. And so he started screaming Jehovah. But I'm just picturing this happening at a table, like, Jehovah, Jehovah, Jehovah.
Oh my God. Oh.
I'm coming to you with the name of, I don't know,
Bob the Sandwich Maker.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, did you see my video where Harrison was on there? I don't know if I actually put that one up. I was making one of my videos and I caught Harrison on the video because I said something, Jehovah something, and Harrison came over and he goes, oh, I've heard of that guy. I was like, you have? What do you know about him? And he goes, he's kind of like Apollo, but not as cool.
Okay. High fives for Harrison, everybody. Yeah. Awesome.
You ever tried this?
Crown Royal Peach? No. I love Crown Royal whiskey, but I've never tried the peach. Well, wait, Bridget, if you're drinking, I'm pulling out this.
Okay.
Same mug that I used on my unboxing video.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers, dear.
Damn, that's good. All right.
So after talking about like all of these, so-called good kings,
Mm-hmm.
you get 8-year-old Josiah. Was my father a bad king?
Hilkiah, was he a bad king?
Your father, Amon, provided well for your material needs. So in that way, you could say he was a good father. But as regards true worship of Jehovah, well...
Yes, he was. My grandfather was a bad king too, wasn't he? Yes, he was.
God, as you're saying this, it's coming back like I remember. It's almost like a weird trigger thing happening. Like, oh yeah, I remember that.
Mm-hmm. But then the best part is like, but I love Jehovah with my whole heart and soul because I'm a good boy.
That's right. I am a good boy.
And yet some of the worst people that you'll ever meet will say the exact same thing. But, he's a good boy. And then, this is the best part. So in comes Pasher. Dun, dun, dun. And
Vader.
I had this thought. I had this mental picture of them like gunslingers. Scratch that. Pasher is Vader. Hilkiah is Yoda. You know the scene from like Attack of the Clones when like Yoda faces off with Count Dooku and it's like a Wild West sort of like...
And he's like flying through the air.
Yeah.
Master Yoda.
Count Dooku.
You have interfered with our affairs for the last time.
Yeah.
But the first thing that they have is like they're kind of facing off with each other, and all you can think is you're hearing like the theme from The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Draw your saber.
It is obvious that this contest cannot be decided by our knowledge of the Force, but by our skills with a lightsaber.
Yeah.
This is the mental picture that I have of Pasher and Hilkiah just doing this sort of dance around each other. Pasher, Hilkiah, we meet again.
Excuse me, my lord. Hilkiah, you are needed at the temple now. I think Josiah can live without your benevolent influence for a few hours.
Pasher, who put you in charge?
I'm just trying to be helpful to a fellow priest. After all, you're not the high priest yet.
Pasher, Josiah is awaiting his tutor. See that he gets to his class on time. We will continue this discussion later, Josiah. Excuse me.
It sounded like Batman. You totally just channeled Batman.
I am the one who knocks. No. And like little 8-year-old Hilkiah is in the middle. What's going on?
8-year-old Josiah.
Ah! Yep. I'm a good boy. Don't hurt me. Yeah. So yeah, there's that whole, Pasher, Hilkiah. I'll see you later.
See you in hell. Oh no, wait, we don't believe in that.
We'll see you in Gehenna.
The common grave of mankind, damn it.
Yeah. So we get to learn a little bit about Enon here, now that Pasher is alone with Josiah, because, that's what you do. You leave a grown man alone with a little boy, right?
If you're a witness, of course. Why wouldn't
Yeah,
you?
it'll be fine.
They don't need witnesses. They,
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. He's a priest. What could go wrong? Oh, God.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Apparently quite a bit.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. What could go wrong?
Okay, my face hurts again.
Okay.
Giggling.
Oh, God.
Mm.
So apparently Enon, Pasher's son, he likes to go and watch people offer sacrifices to, quote, the army of the heavens.
Mm.
So this is supposed to be like a bad thing. Like, you can't go and sacrifice to the army of the heavens. Well, okay, but one, isn't Jehovah often referred to as Jehovah of armies in the Bible?
Yes.
And where does Jehovah and his army live?
In heaven.
So what's the problem?
I don't know.
Yeah. Like that just kind of got me thinking like, yeah. And then the quote here that I love in the drama is like, well, surely Jehovah wouldn't have allowed such worship to go on if it was outlawed. And again, I was just thinking like Josiah should have said, don't call me Shirley, but and the thought that I had was like, or maybe, just maybe, Jehovah just sits back with his, her, its thumbs way up his, her, its ass, builds up this huge bit of anger, and then has like a huge blowout.
It seems that way. I mean,
but the other thought that I had was this, like, okay, so if this has been going on for quite some time, we do know from our consideration of worshiping a three-nature that Jehovah is supposed to be like, quick to anger and everything else, right? I mean, you bitch about not having something besides manna to eat, you get burned alive. Like,
right, yeah, of course.
Is it possible that Jehovah had to go into some anger management course and that's why?
It could be, but who would teach it? Maybe it was Jesus. Jesus is teaching anger management. No, Jesus couldn't teach anger management. He was like flipping tables and stuff.
Yeah, that's true. Flipping tables and
just angry people. Like they're just angry people.
Well, again, if the Dark Matter 2525 channel is anything to go by, then there's like a little naked baby angel up there just keeping God in line. I'm like, no.
Bad boy. Drop it.
Yep.
Come here, please.
What do you want?
A little closer. A little closer.
So, or for that matter, this was another thought that I had. Was there a restraining order put in place?
Could have been. I don't know.
God, after all of that genocide and everything else, you're going to have to leave the Israelites alone for about 800 years or so.
Right, and then you can come kill them all later. But yeah.
But you gotta let it slide a little bit.
Yeah.
You can't be wiping them out as a people anymore.
Right.
1 or 2 is fine, but you can't. Yeah.
Stop killing everybody.
Exactly. Just cool it.
Freak.
So this is Josiah at 8, right? Mm-hmm. Little boy, you got to be a good boy and love Jehovah. Okay. Flash forward to Josiah at age 15.
Mm-hmm.
And according to the drama here, this is when he decides to start searching for Jehovah. Looking under every rock and tree and everything. Jehovah, are you there? No, okay. Like,
yeah.
How do you search for something that's invisible and beyond the physical realm?
Mushrooms? I don't I'll smoke a lot of pot. I got nothing.
It seems that like you'd be better off searching for a needle in a haystack or chasing a wild goose.
Well, why look for something that is not there? Like, what are you hoping that this is going to do for you? Like, it doesn't. I got nothing.
I'd also really like to know, because like from the age of 8, I want to be a good king, to the age of 15. And now he's decided to start searching for Jehovah. So what was Josiah doing in those intervening years? Was he still playing tug of war with Enon? Like,
probably tugging something, but
loving his royal pillow?
Something, yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh.
I gotta fix my glasses here.
Well, my friend, the regular pioneer, played Josiah at 15, because that's the one where he was singing with the harp, right?
I believe so. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So maybe he was busy with Enon during those intervening years. I don't know.
There's a thought. We also learn at this point in the drama that the Book of the Law has been missing for years. Nobody knows where it is. That's right. That's right. I've got my Book of the Law right here. So this thing has been missing for years. And they even talk about the idea that the priests all have their own bits and pieces of it. But in its entirety, it's been missing all this time. So the thought that I had was like, okay, if that's the case, if this is like all important and the people are supposed to live by this, why didn't Jehovah care enough to make sure that it didn't get lost?
And how did it get lost?
Right? Like,
I mean, did they leave it at Starbucks or something? I mean,
somebody got cold one day and needed to start a fire? Like,
well, then it would be gone. It wouldn't be lost. I mean, you can't actually find it after that, could you?
Well, maybe not. Yeah. And the other thought that I had was like, okay, so they say like the priests have pieces of it. That like their own copies of it.
Maybe it's the Horcrux.
Oh. Ooh.
That's what it is.
That's what it is.
The Horcrux.
Or if it's anything like the sacred Jedi texts, then it's like on another planet somewhere buried in a tree cave or something.
No, wait, I thought that was the Mormons.
Scientologists?
Scientologists. Something. I don't know.
Yeah. But like, if the priests have like their own little bits and pieces of it, why weren't they copying the whole thing when it was available?
That's a good question.
Like, are they doing a bad job?
Well, didn't all the kings have to write the Book of the Law in their own hand?
Like that was the first thing you were supposed to do.
Yeah. So what was Josiah doing when he was king if he wasn't copying the book?
8-year-old Josiah, he can't read or write, you see.
Oh.
He's just good at tugging on things.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure, let's move on.
So once again, they're talking about true worship versus false worship and everything else. And apparently Jehovah only wants a specific altar in Jerusalem to be used. The high places and everything else, they're not allowed. You know, that in no way would be indicative of a small group of people that just want to have control over everybody's lives. Like, no, your altar isn't good enough. You've got to come to Jerusalem. Jehovah only accepts this altar.
And how do they know that? Like, it's not like he said so.
Well, you see, it's in the law. Oh, where?
The law's
part's
been missing
lost.
for 100 years, so just trust us, it's in there.
Yeah. The other thought that I had with regards to this, putting aside like the whole control thing, this is all from memory. I did not do any Bible reading before this, not like last time. So like the Levites, when somebody brought something to offer, the Levites were supposed to get a hunk of the thing to eat with the person offering it up.
Mm-hmm.
So as long as people were busy bringing like their bulls and calves and turtle doves or whatever else.
And a partridge in a pear tree.
Yeah. The priest on hand would get a snack, basically. Like,
this is like more and more like preschool. There's a theme here.
Yeah. It's like, here, I'm coming to offer up some lamb. Have a lamb chop there, priesty. Like,
yum.
Yeah. So maybe, just maybe, this is actually the priests living in Jerusalem, and they're like, hey, daddy's got to eat.
Mm-hmm. Could be.
We can't go back to manna, for crying out loud.
That's a good point. It could be.
Yeah. So Enan and Josiah, I guess, are talking here, and Enan asks the question, like, how do you know that Hilkiah hasn't altered the law for his own purposes? Good question.
Yeah.
It's a really damn good question, because if all of the priests are like copying the law, I'd be like, this point, subsection B, point 3,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't really work for me. So
I like that part.
When I copy this down, I'm going to say that I'm supposed to get 1/4 of the lamb instead of 1/10.
Yeah.
It's the law.
Sure, why not?
Yeah. Like, it's the latest executive order. Yeah. But as soon as Enan asked this question, well, there it is. Josiah, 15 years old, he's already practicing the shoving his own head up his own ass. Be like, no, you must get out for asking such a question. How dare you? Hilkiah is faithful.
How can you trust Hilkiah's copy of the law? How do you know that he did not alter the law for his own selfish purpose?
Enough of this talk, Enan. I think it is best if you left now.
Whatever you think, my lord.
And then when Josiah is back with Hilkiah for his latest force training,
yeah,
he walks in.
You look upset, Josiah.
Enan is full of the hot east wind.
Enan is full of the haughtiest wind. Such strong language. Exactly. And all I could think of was that wind bursting forth from Jehovah once again. That was all I could think of. He's full of the haughtiest wind.
Wow.
And my comment on this literally is, what the fuck? Who says that?
The haughtiest wind.
The haughtiest wind. Who says that?
Enan.
Apparently. And this is when we get treated to a concert from Josiah.
Yes.
Examine me,
Yeah.
O Jehovah, and put me to the test. Refine my kidneys and my heart.
Examine me.
I was hoping you'd sing a few bars.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It was so funny. It was hilarious. I mean,
Oh,
it really was funny, and it never got old. Even like at the actual performance, at the drama, it was funny. Like I was trying not to laugh from my little seat behind the bushes.
this concert that we get treated to, I'm not kidding. I have a note here that says I'd rather listen to Kingdom Melody's analysis videos.
Well, thank you for that. I would hope.
Yeah.
Certainly more entertaining.
Well, yeah, and like I like the analysis of those lyrics a lot better than the analysis of David's Kingdom Melodies that they give here. Because he sings some line about like being whole souled to Jehovah, like examine my kidneys, like you said. And then Josiah comes back, who's like, Anan claims to be whole souled to Jehovah, but curries the favor of people and foreign priests. So I thought to myself, so kind of like Watchtower sitting with other religious leaders to lie in front of the Supreme Court of Canada?
Disfellowship literally means no further spiritual fellowship with the individual. And as I point out, sorry, Chief Justice, as I point out at paragraph 22 of my factum, the nature of the relationship then of a disfellowship person is not completely shunned. As far as their family members are concerned, normal family relations continue with the exception of spiritual fellowship.
Bingo. Or, being an NGO in the United Nations while saying how evil the UN is for you.
Yeah. Or lying outright to governmental authorities just to look better.
Yep. Like that.
Yeah. Yeah. But, it's okay for them, but it's not all right for Enan. Shame on him.
Theocratic warfare, buddy.
Yeah. And then the singing goes on
forever and ever and ever. That had to be so embarrassing for him.
Oh, I have the note here. Who wrote this music? Who wrote this? Like, it feels like something that was just sort of like hashed out at the last minute. Like,
It was a random music generator.
Must have been.
Just like random notes just sort of flung.
Oh, yeah, that could be it. And then just each one of them just drawn out because the music is so low. No, I'm not going to. No. Folks, you do not want to hear me sing, okay? Make you wish you were never born with me hearing me sing. So, and then after this singing of Kingdom Melodies, Josiah decides, oh, I'm inspired to restore true worship and fix the temple. Like, was there some hypnosis in that music?
Well, how did the temple get broken? I don't like what restore true worship. Then what's he been doing?
Right? And that's what I have. Like, if he's been reading and singing these songs all this time, and even when he like begins his little concert, like he's got these all memorized and everything, he's singing them from memory.
Right.
What makes today so different all of a sudden? This story couldn't possibly be made up, could it?
No. Well, and what he means by restoring true worship is destroying all other worship.
Yes.
So I'm going to eliminate everything but what I like and what I believe in. That's not cool.
Mm-hmm. And when Pasher gets word of all of this, he mentions that like for years people have been using these high places. He says like he names a couple of them. He says like well, this one's been around for 300 years. So people are used to worshiping there. So, but they don't have the approval of Jehovah. Well, if Jehovah's Witnesses are so used to worshiping at kingdom halls, but are they actually necessary?
No, only for the governing body to make money.
Exactly. Like, it's almost like they had this massive, long-running real estate scam, and they're finally getting to cash in.
Surely not.
No, surely not.
Don't call me Shirley.
Okay, Bridget.
My name.
Oh. So we get to flash forward another 4 years, and now Josiah is finally doing it. So at the age of 15, he says, I'm going to restore the true worship, and I'm going to fix the temple in 4 years. For now, I've just got to work on my archery and my harp technique.
Yeah.
Yes, there you go. Yep, this guy did it. I just suddenly had a thought. If they had video games back then, maybe it never would have happened.
Maybe, you never know.
Yeah. So as he's talking about the idea of like getting rid of false worship and everything, you've got the faithful whiners. Well, there's no money. People are just pocketing all the silver and gold for themselves. I'm like, this is another shameless plug from Watchtower. Like,
yeah.
Don't keep your gold. We need it for Jehovah's service.
Yeah.
You know, it's the summer of 1991 after all. Yeah, so here's Watchtower. You know, like, don't pocket all the money. You need it for Jehovah's service.
Donate.
Because the creator of all things needs his money.
Right. Because, you know, what did he do before there was money? I mean, before people invented money.
Yeah. Like, and the part about this that I really got thinking was like, okay, if, again, like, suspend your disbelief as much as possible.
It's hard, but I'll try.
Yeah. If all of this is really so important to Jehovah, like if the temple has to be repaired, if the temple has to be super duper glorious and everything else, well, according to the Bible, Jehovah was able to miraculously keep like the sandals of the Israelites from wearing out after, like, throughout the whole 40 years in the wilderness. Their clothes didn't wear out or nothing. Why couldn't he, she, it preserve his, her, its own temple?
Right. And not to mention that he supposedly created the entire universe, but can't keep a building in good repair? Come on. Really?
You know, keeps everything else in order in the universe, like the stars and the planets, and, you know, not one star is missing supposedly, but this building, that's not on me, that's on you guys.
Like, I just can't take care of that, guys.
Yeah.
But I'm going to kill you if you don't.
Yeah, exactly. You will prove your love to me if you keep my building safe.
Yeah.
Which, again, I promise I did not do any Bible reading before this.
Me either.
But when David had the idea to build the temple, Jehovah's response was, I have the tabernacle. What do I need the temple for?
You got a point there.
Oh, why does this matter?
It doesn't. It's a distraction.
Things that make you go,
It's a distraction.
Next time on Thinking Caps On. So and as they're talking about all of the other things that are wrong in the universe, you have the priests bitching about the Molech worship that's going on.
Molech.
Yes, Molech. All of these parents that are sacrificing their children to the dark side of the force. Like, and the thing that I got thinking about this is like, but this is exactly what Jehovah's Witnesses do now.
Yeah, it is.
Like, okay, they're not burning their kids alive, but they do sacrifice their children's futures to Watchtower by like say, well, you don't need to go to school. You're not even going to graduate on this side of Armageddon. You don't need a job. We're just going to sacrifice you on the altar of Watchtower's agenda.
Right. And if you get in a tragic car accident and you need a blood transfusion, well, you should just die. And not to mention sacrificing their children's mental health.
Yeah. Just leave it all in Jehovah's hands.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, the other thing about this too is like Jehovah's own law made it perfectly legal for a parent who had a disobedient child to haul that kid out into the streets and be like, my kid doesn't obey me, kill him. And they're bitching about people that sacrifice their children to Molech. They're no better.
But I can't understand none of this makes sense to me. Like, I grew up with all this and hearing all of it. And there were times I remember thinking, and I remember asking my mom, because, the pictures in the Bible storybook of, everything in that book was violent. But particularly the picture of Abraham and Isaac, where he's got the knife and he's about to kill him and saying, like, why is he doing that? And would you do that to me? And I remember my mom saying, if Jehovah told me to, I would. And I remember thinking, like, whoa, even back then, like, I was little, like, but how do you know it's really Jehovah? Like, ooh, that's terrifying. But then I think about this and all these stories in the Bible about people who, stole somebody else's baby and they're going to cut the baby in half, and like, oh, we throw our children on this burning statue to sacrifice them, and all this crap. That's crazy. None of these people could actually have been parents. Now, this kind of all like floated over my head before I had kids. But now that I have my own children, you got to be kidding me. There's no way people actually did that. They might have thrown other people's children on Molech or whatever, but they weren't sacrificing their own kids. Ain't no way.
Yeah.
No way.
I feel like it's basically like the writers had to vilify the other side.
Yeah.
So they make this up. I mean,
right. I mean, I'm not saying that they didn't sacrifice children. Because historically they did, but I'm saying this was not a common practice for parents to just like fling their kids on the altar. Like that's not, that doesn't even make sense. If it happened that often, then there wouldn't be any population to speak of, right?
Yeah.
Because there wouldn't be any kids, and then, eventually they would die out, right?
Yeah.
You would think.
Maybe.
Oh no.
Because this is right around this is like long after the kingdom's been divided, right? You have like the southern 2 tribes and then the northern 10 tribes. Maybe the northern 10 tribes had a population problem.
Oh, that could be. Yeah. Those false worshipers.
Yeah, they're just the worst. Just the worst.
Yuck.
So they're also talking in this session about Jehovah's judgment being against Judah now. So I got thinking, if Jehovah's judgment is against Judah, what the fuck is the point of everything that they're about to do? If Jehovah's decided, y'all be fucked.
Exactly. It's like you're trying to change his mind.
Yeah. Like, come on. Like, yeah. And they talked about earlier on in the drama, they talked about like how Manasseh did on a grand scale what was bad in Jehovah's eyes. Because, that's how people talked. Brigette.
What's bad in Jehovah's eyes?
Mm-hmm.
Like, who cares?
But yeah, and they go on with the obsession about the temple repairs because that's, what'll make Jehovah happy. And then I love this. Josiah turns to Shaphan, I think his name is. And he says, write this down. Chafin says, my pen is ready, my lord. I'm like, pen? Pen? Was that a ballpoint pen or was it a gel pen?
Like it was a fountain pen with a big feather. No, wait. It's too early for that.
Yeah.
Charcoal?
I got thinking about that, and then like the sound effect that they use makes it sound like a pencil that's writing directly on wood.
Judah and Jerusalem shall be cleansed from the high places, and the sacred poles, and the graven images, and the molten statues.
It's like, I thought that these were like scrolls of parchment that they wrote on. So why would it sound like a pencil writing on wood?
It was a number 2 pencil on one of those pads they give you in kindergarten that's made out of sawdust. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like
right, yeah, where you can actually see the wood chunks still in it.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah. And even then I got thinking, like, they said the word pen. Wouldn't the word stylus be more accurate?
Yeah, but they didn't have any Velcro on their sandals, so you got to give them points for that.
The thought that I had with regards to that too is like, okay, if they're so concerned about not having Velcro on that, excuse me, then you would think that they would make sure that they didn't say pen, and then they would say like, my stylus is ready, or something.
Well, they were afraid that the uneducated audience would not know what a stylus was.
Oh, yeah. Got to dumb it down, right?
That's probably what it was. Yeah.
Yeah. And then like, so after all of this is written down, everything, like all of these like big dramatic plans and all the rest of that, Josiah says, if we are dedicated to doing Jehovah's will, what do we have to fear from anyone? Because they're even talking about going up into territory that is occupied by like the Assyrians and so on. Like, they're not going to like that. Well, what do we have to fear from anybody if we're dedicated to doing Jehovah's will?
Well, they might kick your ass.
Yeah. In fact, they have in the past. That's why they're occupying parts of your territory.
Right.
But like, Jehovah's Witnesses don't even believe that, because they cower and hide. Like, just when they get approached by ex-witnesses that are asking them questions, they lie in front of...
It didn't used to be that way, though. Have you noticed how much it's changed?
Yeah.
Like, they don't even engage anymore. They don't know what they're talking about anymore. Like, we used to be able to argue it. Like, argue it hard and win. They can't anymore. They don't even know what they're talking about anymore. It's just superstition and fear. That's all they have.
They're too busy, like, trying to sort out that overlapping generations thing to...
That's probably what it is.
Yeah. Caught in like a recursive loop.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they have gone full cult though in the last couple of years. Like it's changed to an alarming degree. It was bad enough before, but at least you could kind of, okay, it's not too awfully culty, but now it's right up there with the rest of them.
Yeah.
Like, I cannot even believe all the YouTube videos of Jehovah's Witnesses doing covers of the Kingdom songs, like they're some kind of Celine Dion or something. Like, it is crazy.
Could you imagine Celine Dion singing some of the songs that Josiah is singing earlier on? Chest beating it all? Examine me.
That is funny.
Oh, there's your mental picture.
Yeah, my mental picture for the day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I don't even think that even the leaders believe anymore that, as long as they're doing Jehovah's will, they've got nothing to fear. I mean, Jeff Jackson's answer about like at the ARC is proof.
Yeah.
Well, I think that would be presumptuous to say, oh, you pussy, like, come on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't think a lot of them believe it. I mean, this COVID-19 thing is proof enough. If they were real believers, they wouldn't be closing the Kingdom Halls. Although I mean the people in in New York, the Hateful Eight,
Mm-hmm.
they wouldn't be telling people not to have meetings if they really believed.
Yeah.
It wouldn't matter what the law said because they've been defiant of the law since they started.
Well, you heard about that one pastor in Louisiana who had a church service of 500 people.
Yeah.
And the police showed up and shut it down. He had the attitude that Jehovah's Witnesses are saying here that they should have. He's like, hey, we're worshiping God.
Yeah.
So, but no, Jehovah's Witnesses, well, I guess we'll listen to the secular authorities in this matter because, ugh.
It's just Armageddon.
Yeah. And okay. Weren't we always told as witnesses that when the Great Tribulation came, that, oh yeah, we'd still be meeting. We would be right out there, in the public. We'd still be doing the preaching work. What's that?
Preaching harder than ever.
Mm-hmm. Only now it won't be so nice. Now we'll really be hitting them hard with y'all be fucked. Like that was
the hailstone message.
Yes, the hailstone message. They shut down the preaching work even ages before this whole COVID-19 thing started. Like, I haven't seen the witnesses at my door in years.
Oh, well, they are all over college campus. All over. And it makes me so mad. I cannot stand it. I'm like, you people are trying to ruin people's lives.
Yep. Pull people out of college.
Yep.
So
far, I've done really well, and I haven't accosted anyone.
You haven't gone and kicked over any carts yet?
No, but I did convince a coworker to crop dust them.
Nice. All right, so we get another flash forward. Now we're jumping ahead to the 18th year of Josiah's reign. So now he's 25 years old, I think.
Yeah.
And he's finally decided to get around to fixing the temple. So remember, he was 15 years old, and he said, I want to fix the temple.
Right.
Now he's 25. Now he's finally getting around to it.
Okay, so funny story.
Mm-hmm.
They had these 3 different guys playing Josiah, right? And there was no real effort made for them to look alike or have similar coloring or anything like that. So, young Josiah was, little boy. Medium-sized Josiah was had blonde streaks in his hair and flaming. And then grown-up Josiah was gigantic.
Mm-hmm.
With Brillo hair. And the only way that they could make this appear that it was the same person was that they made the same outfit.
The same purple outfit?
So he had a purple robe and the purple in the gold lame and the crown, little turban-y crown thing. All 3 had it. And then this last guy, he's like freaking grape ape. He was gigantic.
Mm-hmm.
Was the 25-year-old Josiah.
Oh, well.
Really pretty funny.
Considering the guy's voice on the drama.
Ah, Enan. Did you not tell me 6 years ago we could not afford to pull down the high places and repair the temple?
So he decides to start fixing the temple. And then they say, incidentally, this is when Jehovah commissions Jeremiah to start his prophesying work.
Mm-hmm.
Now, according to the Bible, Jeremiah was Judah's big prophet that was on hand when Jerusalem was destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
So we know that, it's getting real close.
607?
Yeah. Or is it 586, 587? We do know that according to the Bible, this is the prophet that will be alive and will write the Psalm book of Lamentations over Jerusalem's destruction and everything else. So that's how close they are to the end. It's the last of the last days.
Very last of the final days of the last day of
The last day before the final.
So the events unfolding around us are making clearer than ever that we're living in the final part of the last days, undoubtedly the final part of the final part of the last days, shortly before the last day of the last days.
Right.
So I'm asking myself, again, what the fuck is the point of fixing up the temple?
They're gonna tear it down anyway.
It's gonna get burned to the ground.
You got a prophet right there who should be able to tell you that.
Yeah. You have a prophet right there that should be like, look,
Guys, appreciate what you're doing. You're wasting your time.
Right. Let's not say we did. Yeah.
Yeah.
What you ought to be doing is knocking on doors.
You know why he's not telling them that? It's because Jehovah has him walking back and forth between Jerusalem and the river Euphrates over some stupid linen belt.
You're going to go for a walk from Jerusalem all the way to the river Euphrates. It's about 500 kilometers, so bring some water with you.
Say what now?
Oh, yeah.
He's out on a road trip the whole time. Yeah. So, and they're still talking about the fact that the book of the law is so lost that people are even beginning to wonder if it existed.
Law.
Mm-hmm. So I'm asking myself again, if it's that important, why did Jehovah let it be lost for so long?
Well, how are they existing without it if it's so important?
Right? Like, how? How?
Introduce a little anarchy. Upset the established order, and everything becomes chaos.
You also have Pasher and Enon talking about all the money that's being donated by the people.
Oh, here we go
fixing up
again.
the temple. And they want it for themselves. Like, they even literally say on the drama, maybe we can fill some of our coffers with it. Right? So I got thinking, what we're hearing here is an actual conversation inside GB headquarters.
Right, like it's Toni Morris and
maybe I can divert some of it towards my Macallan habit.
Right. Yeah.
Macallan whiskey, when you really need to get shit-faced. I'm just gonna pour myself another one.
Oh, you're so funny.
L'chaim.
Burn, baby, burn.
I have to say, the second shot always goes down smoother than the first.
That's what she said.
Michael, please. Please.
So good.
Yep. So. Don't say it, Stefan. Don't say it.
I'm not gonna.
That's what she said.
Rah.
Come on.
Oh my God. We always have so much fun on these things.
This is why I was so happy when you agreed to do another one.
Oh God, yeah. That's hilarious.
I'm just looking at what I've got written down next.
Uh-oh. All right, spill it.
Actual quote from the drama. Jehovah's hand is not short towards those that do what is right. So once again, we have a comment about Jehovah's tiny little hands. And I have a note. I have a note that says, insert Donald Trump impression here. Donald Trump voice doing Jehovah's lines. My hands are cut short, are they? Okay. I'm going to make it rain so much quail. Okay. You don't even know. I know quail. It's going to make your head spin. Okay. Okay. I know my quail. Okay. It's going to be fantastic. Fantastic. And ladies and gentlemen, I just broke Brigette. Oh, yeah. Just memories. Well, yeah. Jehovah's hand is not short, okay?
You're killing me, man.
Perfectly regular size.
I said his hand wasn't short. I didn't say anything about the rest of it.
Oh, boy. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Uh-huh. How old are we again?
No. I'm too young to get baptized.
That's right, Sally. You're just too young. So, it's right around this point in the drama that the Book of the Law, trademark pending, is suddenly found in the temple. Like, as they're digging through it all, like, oh, what is this?
Like nobody ever looked in the fucking temple.
Right? Like, how ruined was the temple that after all these years, like, was it like, I'm thinking of the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I don't know if you've read the books or whatever.
Of course.
Okay, so like, it was in the planning department down in the cellar, but the stairs had gone out. And there was a sign that said, beware of the leopard. And like, yeah. That's why the Book of the Law wasn't found.
No, I was thinking it was under Josiah's bed.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they even say that it's, written by the very hand of Moses. How do they know what Moses' handwriting looked like?
Could Moses read and write?
Like, if the Book of the Law has been lost for all this time.
That long?
How do they know what Moses' handwriting looks like?
Yeah. Wow. I sense a forgery.
I do too. I really do, because it's so convenient that now it turns up. Like, ridiculously convenient. And besides all of that, like when they're reading from it, remembering how old this scroll is supposed to be, they're heard like rolling it up.
Right? Like
You
it
would
was
think
disintegrated.
Yeah. Hundreds of years old this thing is, and it's supposed to be like the original.
Right.
Roll it all up,
Idiots.
Yeah. And so then, like, when Shafan, what a name. When Shafan comes to bring this, like, to Josiah, he's like, a great discovery has been made. What is it? Like, as he starts to read it, he gets out, like, maybe a sentence and a half. And Josiah's like, stop! How I've longed to hear. I picture this sort of like, if it was like a real big stage production, spotlight right here.
Yeah.
How I've longed to hear those words. If only this could have happened sooner.
And that's the exact, like, the gestures were just over the top.
Yeah.
And it must occur that if you will without fail listen to the voice of Jehovah your God...
Stop! Those words, what are you reading? It's the book of the law. How I longed for this day to come. Read. Please read, Shaphan.
Please do continue.
If you've longed for this, then shut up and listen to it.
Yeah. And quit interrupting Josiah.
Yeah.
You start calling him Josie or something.
Josie.
I just suddenly had this thought of like season 3 Star Trek original series Bill Shatner. Stop! How I've longed to hear these words.
Captain's log, stardate 8169.7. The Enterprise has just discovered a strange new planet in the Gamma Fallopian star system. Mr. Sulu, ahead warp 9.
But I could not have heard them until now.
I can't hear them now because I won't shut up.
Yeah. and if just thinking like, you know, if that was Star Trek and you have Bones standing right there, shut up, Jim, and let him read.
Damn it, Josiah, I'm a priest.
Yeah. Please, Spock, continue.
Since passing through a cosmic cloud, I've noticed a peculiar change in the behavior of my crew, although the faces seem the same. Their personalities have altered, yet somehow they seem familiar. I don't know what to do.
So as Shaphan, as the dude goes on to, what's that?
Just call him Stefan.
Okay. No, because then my name gets attached to something dirty.
Oh, dirty.
So after this Bible reading, I mean law reading or whatever it is,
yeah,
it concludes with like the fear mongering part. Like, you know, if you don't do all the shit that I told you to do, then I'll bring all kinds of trouble and I'll let everybody around you kick your ass and blah 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 blah. Josiah, he goes, "Great is Jehovah's rage that has been set afire against us." Who talks like that?
Josiah, apparently. What? Yeah. Great is Jehovah's rage. How do they know? Like, they didn't know about the rage until they found the damn book.
Yeah.
Is that why the book was so important?
I don't know. But you would think, that if all of these priests have different pieces of it, surely somebody must have had a piece that says, "I'll let your enemies kick your ass if you don't do what I tell you to do."
You would think. Or like, if they've all got different pieces, why didn't they just put them all together and make a full copy?
Yeah, and be like, "Here, Josiah, copy this." There might be some pieces missing, but you get the gist.
Yeah.
Yeah. Apparently, only the parts about how important the temple was were preserved.
Oh, I see. Not the part that says I'm pissed off.
Yeah. Yeah. That's got to be what it is.
Why he's pissed off?
Well, I guess that anger management course wasn't very successful.
Oh, it didn't work. Well, he's always pissed off. He's looking for a reason to kill everybody. I forgot that for a minute. So
hundreds of years of not being able to just send snakes and fire and all of the rest of that, you know.
Yeah.
That restraining order really drove Jehovah batshit crazy. Yeah.
We're going to hell.
Oh, we are. And what I love about this, so I guess through the prophet Jeremiah, I think it's through Jeremiah, Josiah is told, look, the nation is screwed.
You're doomed, doomed, doomed. You're doomed.
You will go into captivity.
You're doomed. You're all doomed.
It's just a matter of time.
Thank you.
But don't worry, Josiah. It won't happen during your lifetime. That's so convenient, don't you think?
I think it is, yes.
Yeah. Like really, really convenient. Almost as if this entire narrative might have been made up in Josiah's time.
No.
Now, I'm gonna plug the John Cedars channel for a moment, because I know that in his coverage of the Love Never Fails convention, he did, I believe, an entire video just about the Josiah movie that was made.
Oh Lord, they made a movie. Oh.
Yeah, so it's a movie version of the drama that you were in.
Oh no.
Oh yes.
Why would anyone do such a thing? Is Sally in it?
Yeah. And they changed up things a little bit. They made Pasher look like this crazy whacked out guy with this frizzy hair and dark eyes, and he was bonkers. But one of the things that Lloyd brought out in his video, he said that there's a number of archaeological bits of evidence that would suggest that before the time of Josiah's reign, that the Book of the Law did not exist. Because the oldest copies available are actually from the 7th century BC.
I'm shocked.
So the thought put forth by some scholars is that Josiah retroactively wrote this law and claimed that it was from Moses and put it forth on the thing, especially because of the fact that so much of the law benefits him personally, and so much of like, oh, don't worry, like, I'll be fine. It's just all y'all that are fucked.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, but do what you can. Best of luck to you. Probably you might be concealed in the day of Jehovah's anger. Like,
probably.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I found that really interesting, like having that in my head from Lloyd's video and then going back and listening to this drama. I haven't watched the movie, just his coverage of it, but yeah. And I do have a copy of the movie downloaded on my computer. I've been meaning to watch it and kind of do a reaction video to it, but yeah, maybe now I have an excuse to.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I can't believe they made a movie out of this. Like, wow.
I can't believe they made a movie out of a whole bunch of things that they've made movies out of.
I can't believe they're making movies.
Well, there's that too.
Like
when the Jehovah's Witnesses, the organization behind the name video came out, that was the first video. That was a big deal.
That was a huge deal.
Yeah, that was huge. And then they followed it up with
Purple Triangles.
Yeah, well, which they didn't make; they just bought the rights to. But then there was like the trilogy about like the Bible, a book of history and prophecy, or something like that. Like,
yeah,
those were huge. There were so many times when it'd be like, "Oh, let's watch a movie. We'll put in one of the Society's movies." Oh man.
Yeah, like, oh great.
Oh, those are boring. Did I say that out loud?
No, you did.
Inside voice, outside voice, inside voice. Shit. Yeah. So, so again, we have like Pasher and Enon doing their plotting and sort of their kind of discussion about everything that Josiah is doing, and they start talking about assassination and like. You know, his father and his grandfather were assassinated. Like, something could wind up happening to him. And then you hear in the background, some COVID-19 patient who's trying to eavesdrop. And they're like, did you hear that? I don't see anybody. Bridget, I don't see anybody, do you? So, we better get out of here. Like,
hide.
Yeah. And then we have like, okay, so now like Josiah, he's decided that he's got to, read this law in front of the people, because when Shaphan brought it to him, he was like, well, give me that. I'm going to read it over from start to finish. And now we find out that yes, he's made his copy of it that he was supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to read from his own copy. So once again, no, Josiah didn't,
He didn't change anything. No, surely not.
Yeah.
Totally.
What happened to the original?
Good question.
Did it go back into the temple? No. It got lost again. But don't worry, I have a copy.
At Starbucks.
Yeah. Spilled some coffee on it. I'm sorry. Yeah.
My dog ate it.
Mm-hmm. But we have like some of this last minute sort of encouragement and like, oh yeah, everything will be fine and blah, 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 blah. And then Josiah is reading from the law. And this is hilarious. I need to find something to read so that I can do an impression.
See, I do put before you today life and good, and death and bad. If you will listen to the commandments of Jehovah your God, which I am commanding you today, so as to love Jehovah your God, to walk in his ways, and to keep his commandments, then Jehovah your God must bless you.
The manual for my microphone.
Oh, okay.
All right. Folks, bear with me here. This is my impression of Josiah reading from the book of the law. Congratulations on your purchase of the Yeti, the most advanced and versatile multi-platform USB microphone roaming the wild today. The Yeti is the ultimate tool. You get the picture.
Oh my God. You sound like the announcer at a football game.
Pretty much. Yep. And then as he's reading this, you hear the people in the background. Oh. Ooh.
That is brand new information.
Never heard anything like this before. This is so profound. Yeah.
You must do everything Josiah says.
Mm-hmm. I am your king. But what I really love too is like the part that you hear him reading here. This is like the same farewell speech given by Moses at the end of YCD number 2.
Oh, yeah.
The difference is that now you can actually understand what the hell he's saying instead of yeah. I put life and death before you. Exactly. That's why the people hadn't heard it before. They're like, oh, nobody that has ever read this out loud has ever been able to be understood.
Oh, God.
And of course, like every time Josiah does something in the drama, we've got to cut back to Pasher and Enan kind of doing their commentary on it. And they're basically like, they were in the crowd listening to all of this, and they're hedging their bets. They're like, well, if Jerusalem does get destroyed, well then, hey, we're on the right side. But if not, and he dies, well, I'll see you at the high places, Daddy-O. Yeah. So apparently they're professed witnesses and not true witnesses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe they had their fingers crossed behind their backs when they said amen to all of it.
Oh, yeah. You're not allowed to do that.
Yeah. I mean, I mean, like Enon even says, like, I didn't mind saying amen. Yeah. And then after the circuit assembly or public reading, Enon and Pasher are back in Josiah's presence, and he's like, well, I'm not done, like we still have some cleaning to do in the temple. Apparently they forgot to pull down the houses of the male temple prostitutes.
Oh, nice.
So whoopsies. But when Enon comes back in as a grown man standing in front of the king, he's saying, "My lord," in that same sarcastic way. I was thinking, like, okay, Brigette, if I was speaking to you and say, like, yeah, I totally agree with you, Brigette, would you possibly believe anything I have to say to you?
I'd be like,
mm-hmm.
No, I would not be listening to anything that you had to say if you were speaking in that tone.
He'd be like, off with his head. Get him out of here.
Right. Off with his head. Yeah. And it's ridiculous.
Yeah. So,
my lord.
Shut up. Yeah.
Stop copying me. Stop copying me.
So, yeah. And like, so, and then they say, like, the temple will be cleansed completely. So apparently they're going to use some Lysol wipes this time around.
Just thinking that. Oh my God. Lysol wipes.
Yeah. Toilet paper wasn't enough.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Add some bleach and Lysol wipes.
Gonna be cleansed.
And they like, this now begins like a crusade that Josiah has against like all other religions in the land. Mm-hmm. And it gets summed up in my notes kind of like this: burn everything, grind it all, piss on the graves, poison the water, invade other sovereign kingdoms, desecrate graves even more, burn the bones, kill everyone.
Yeah.
Have I missed anything?
No, that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Even when he's talking about cleaning out the temple at one point, Enon, like a whiny little bitch, but that's everything. Oh.
Yeah.
You know. And at one point, like, one of Josiah's like close advisors says to him, like, aren't you going to punish Enon and Pasher? Josiah's answer is basically summed up, no, we'll leave that in Jehovah's hands. Like,
why?
Jehovah will punish them. You know, this is why everything you did was pointless, Josiah. You should have killed them. You know.
Well, if he's trying to be like Jehovah or follow Jehovah's example, then he would have killed them.
Mm-hmm. Like, if the story of Achan is anything to go by, then you have two Achans in your midst, and you know about them,
right? And
you're letting them live.
Yeah.
And that's why Jerusalem is burned to the ground.
Like, none of this stuff makes any sense, though. Like, why does Jerusalem have to burn? Because the dude had, I don't know. I don't get it.
I don't get it. Yeah.
I mean, why does, if you think about it on a larger scale, as far as what the Jehovah's Witnesses believe, why does the whole world have to be destroyed and like 99.9% of the world's population killed because of something? Like, why? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. This is Jehovah apparently doing on a grand scale what is bad in the eyes of humanity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eyes of Jehovah.
Oh, I can't even.
Me either.
And this kind of like brings to a close the story. Like, Josiah is gonna do all of this. He kind of has like sort of a last minute conversation with Ahikam, I think, who is the priest now. Mm-hmm. And they're like, Jehovah be with you and all of the rest of this. And Josiah is gonna ride forth on his chariot to carry out all of this burning and mayhem and everything else. And the last thing that's said is like, may our God grant his people the strength to always do what is right. Well, apparently that isn't working out so well back then, and it's not working out so well today.
No. I mean, they've got a really weird idea of what is right is all.
Yeah. It's almost like there's nobody really up there, and all of this is man-made. Nah.
Clearly not. This is all bullshit now.
Yeah. But we're not done. Now, remember, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, and all other genders, this is a PSA drama for young ones to be baptized.
You reject Satan and all his empty promises.
So we left off with Sally, Tommy, Timmy, Helen, and Brother Shepherd. I can't believe I remembered all those names. Now we're back at the assembly hall. And I guess Brother Shepherd is reading from his Bible that he had in his holster there. And talking about, like, there was, like, I guess Josiah had a Passover because, apparently that was a thing that they found in this book of the law.
The book of the law.
Yeah. And as he's reading about it, he says, like, there was never another Passover like it. This isn't Josiah tooting his horn at all, is it?
No.
No.
It's the best ever. We have the best Passovers. We have all the best Passovers. Everybody knows.
Believe me, when it comes to Passovers, I know Passovers, okay? Yeah.
Oh, God.
There's plenty of lamb's blood for everybody. And they also talk about, like, how, like, for the temple treasury or the repairs of the temple or whatever else, they say that Josiah made a large personal contribution.
Sure he did.
Out of all of the tax money that he collected from everybody. So is it really his own?
The taxpayers made a contribution.
Yeah, exactly. They just, he just basically like, all right, I collected it all, and here, I get all the credit.
Yep.
Yep. So Sally, hey, that's you.
It's me.
Sally pipes up and goes, well, I guess you can't use the excuse of being too young anymore. My answer to that, yes, you can.
Can and should.
You can. And they talk about, this is where like a certain logical fallacy comes into play. They bring up the whole thing about the driver's license and the choice of clothing. And I'm sure you recall this. Sally's like, is there something wrong with what I have on? Do you remember that? Bridget, do you remember what kind of gestures you had to do for that?
I am trying to remember this part. It's been such a long time.
Yeah.
I remember that what I had on actually was a thing, though.
Was a thing.
I wore a red dress that had a great big huge sailor collar on it that came down like this.
Mm-hmm.
And it had big buttons that were like, they were big plastic buttons, but they were the signs of the cards, like the hearts and spades that went down the front. And then a huge circle skirt that came all the way out to my ankles. I mean, it didn't stick out like that, but it was a full circle, like very full.
Mm-hmm.
There were apparently somebody somewhere complained about my dress because of the buttons on it. That was what I said too. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
what's wrong with what I have on?
Yeah. Brother Shepherd's answer to this? Ugh.
Oh, no, Sally. You display a fine appearance as a young lady.
I'm like, what the fuck is that? That's so creepy. That's us saying, nah, girl, you looking fine.
It's pretty cringeworthy for it.
You know?
Yeah.
And
Maybe
then Sally,
that's why I blocked it out.
yeah, there you go.
Cringeworthy.
They bring up this whole, well, hey, I mean, you could have been dressed like this,
I could have.
you know? They bring up this whole thing about like, well, you know, you choose what you want to wear and you have the freedom to do so. Oh, really?
No, you don't. Not if you're a Jehovah's Witness. You do not have the freedom to choose. Not even what your clothes fit.
Yeah. It's only if you're an elder's wife. That's when you get to choose.
Oh, I guess so, yeah.
Yeah. And they talk about like the driver's license. And I think, is it Tommy who has his license?
Yeah.
And he's like, well, would you give up your license out of fear of like getting into an accident or whatever else? Well, no, I guess not. Like,
no, but if you have a car accident, everybody that you know doesn't shun you. You don't get kicked out of the house.
mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, like there's no comparison between these two.
At all.
Yeah.
If you pick the wrong outfit, like your mom and dad aren't going to tell you they don't love you anymore. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It's not really the same thing.
Jehovah will make me forget you because of the outfit you wore.
It's okay if you don't want to be in paradise. Jehovah will make me forget you anyway.
Like,
right, exactly.
Yeah. So I got thinking about that. Like there's so much bullshit in there. Like, there's no comparison, and it's like it's as full as bullshit as like a constipated bull. Like,
You've got old flex.
yeah. And the best thing I love about this, remember, okay, so this is the summer of 1991. With great freedom comes great responsibility. Does that sound vaguely familiar, like a certain superhero movie?
Remember, with great power comes great responsibility.
When I heard that, I was so glad that I did not have coffee in my mouth. It would have been all over my monitor.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Well, and great freedom. Let's talk about great freedom for a minute.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't do anything. There is no freedom as a witness. You can't do anything. Anything. You can't hang out with your friends. You can't even have friends. You can't date. You can't, I mean, you can't go to certain movies. You can't listen to certain music. You can't vote. You can't celebrate holidays. I mean, everything is can't.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like you could easier list the things you can do. You can read Watchtower literature. You can hang out at the Kingdom Hall. You can go to the meetings. I guess you could sing Kingdom melodies.
Their freedom. Well, look at all of the privileges that you are now free to enjoy, like using your own gas money and everything else to pioneer. You're free to, you know, burn up all of your energy and time to build a Kingdom Hall that Watchtower will then make all the money from selling right out from underneath you.
You
enjoy
are
your
free
freedom.
to do what you're told.
Yeah.
Isn't that wonderful? You were free
Yeah.
to do what you're told.
Like, and you know, never ever give up your freedom, brothers and sisters.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah.
Not planning on it.
As if to like really like it's almost accidental, I think, but they right away they undo this idea of freedom because Helen speaks up and says, you know, one day I may want to marry a pioneer, of course. So like you're not even free to decide who you want to marry. You know, oh, it's got to be a pioneer.
Because, you know, nobody else is good enough for you, Helen.
Yeah. Like, you know, and then like Brother Shepherd says, like, what prevents you from taking definite steps? Like, oh, I don't know, because it's a lifelong commitment that carries with it like severe consequences, and you aren't even being told the full extent of all the bullshit that you're signing on to. I don't know. Can I think about it a little bit? Like,
yeah, or maybe you haven't been paying attention at the meetings and you don't know the answers to those 140 some questions they ask.
Mm-hmm.
No, I knew them all. I knew all of them at 11.
Yeah. And
you can't be raised in that cult and not know all of them.
Yeah, you can't. And I mean, I remember going over the questions before I got baptized, and like I had the book right there in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
All I had to do was read out of the book, tell them what they want to hear. Oh yeah, he really knows his stuff.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yep.
So I think it's what is it? Tommy says that he needs to make a real search for Jehovah by improving his personal study. And I'm like, oh, come on. Like,
if Jehovah is so important and almighty and all that crap, why is he so hard to find?
Mm-hmm.
It's because he's not there.
No, you're messing with my whole sense of reality. Like, says the guy wearing a Rocky Horror Picture Show shirt. Like,
well, you know.
Yeah. And then it, like, what is the on the drama, you hear the man from the platform, brothers and sisters, the session's going to begin. Although it sounds more like
it's the adult from Peanuts.
Exactly. That's what I hear anyway. Like when I think back on it.
That was most of the assembly, actually.
Yeah, pretty much. With a whole bunch of clapping like seals in the middle. Yeah.
Oh, can we stop now? Okay.
Oh, we got to start again. Yeah. My favorite part about all this, as they're breaking up the family worship here at the assembly hall,
mm-hmm.
Tom turns to Timmy and says, make sure to bring your camera to the next assembly. And Timmy's like, absolutely I will. And because they've been calling him Timmy the whole time, as the music goes up, all I can hear is,
God bless us, everyone.
God.
Yeah.
The worst part about these things is they're so goofy. They are so goofy.
There's not a single conversation that is actually had on any of the dramas that normal human beings would actually have. They're not even that witnesses have.
Right. No, the language is weird. It's all cult speak, like weird, bizarre stuff that nobody would ever say.
Yeah. I mean, like at any of the assemblies or conventions at lunchtime, nobody was talking about the program. They were talking about where they were going to go for supper.
Yeah, who was going to go out to eat and who's going to go swimming in the hotel pool.
Or did you hear so-and-so got a new car? Did you hear that so-and-so was getting married? Like, it was not about anything to do with the program.
Oh, no. Half of us were out cruising for boys or whatever.
Yeah. As a young man going around the assembly and everything, at the conventions anyway,
mm-hmm.
I would try to get as far away from people as I possibly could without actually leaving the building or the assembly grounds. I try to get to a place where there were no witnesses. So at the Coliseum, they have like the VIP boxes where like the rich people sit. There would always be a group of us young ones that would try and get into one of those, hopefully to see if the door was unlocked.
Yeah.
And that's where we would spend our lunch hour, away from everybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He would always go up into the very top row, like the nosebleed section over in the corner where it was darkest.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. Yep. Mm-hmm. I remember those sections when I was a kid. The conventions were so big that people would actually be sitting up there.
Yeah.
And then later on, they would get roped off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how it was with us too.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
And this drama is kind of like in layers. Like you have the narrator, then the assembly hall, then the Bible, and then we've got to come back out. It's like Inception. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we get back to lovable old grandpa voice.
Yeah.
And he says, always doing what is right is not easy when Satan, the devil, is ruining the world or ruling the world. And I thought, it's also really difficult when you're worshiping a God that was made up by men.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
You notice how doing what is right is dedicating your life to a publishing company.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like there's not any talk about like actual ethics here. There's nothing about what's actually right and wrong. It's what serves Watchtower.
Yeah.
Get baptized. Then you're doing right.
Yeah. And the example that they point to in the Bible as like, this guy did what was right in Jehovah's eyes. Well, he basically sat on his thumbs until he was 25.
Right.
So,
and then he made up stuff.
Yeah. And proceeded to wage massive war against all other religions. So if this is what's right in Jehovah's eyes, what are you telling your kids?
Right.
Well, their thought is like, well, the application today is get baptized and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you draw that line?
Right.
I don't recall hearing Josiah being baptized on the drama.
Right. It doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah. So the narrator concludes by saying it takes dedication, determination, and hard work
to escape Watchtower.
Yeah. I have an alternate form of that line that I'd like to read to you.
Yes.
And it goes like this. It takes dedication to lies, determination to put your head up your own ass, and hard work building kingdom halls and media production facilities for Watchtower to profit from.
Yep.
There, Watchtower, I fixed it for you.
Oh my God. Wow, this brought back some memories. I need to go see if I can find any pictures of me in the drama.
If you have any,
I will go see if I can find them.
I'm very curious about those buttons.
Yeah.
Well, folks, on that note, we are going to bring this episode of Your Childhood Drama to a close. Brigette, thank you again so much. I am pretty sure that everybody who is subscribed to XJW Silent No More is subscribed to Bridgette's channel. And if you're not, what prevents you from dedicating your subscription?
I sing Kingdom Melodies for you people, okay?
I mean, she sounds a lot better than Josiah on the drama. I mean...
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Although that's not saying much.
Well, I mean, come on.
Examine me. Oh, Jehovah. I can't believe I still remember that thing.
I can't believe you remember it either. But that's just great.
Put me to the test. It's bad.
So there's Brigette singing without even trying. Here's a sample of Brigette singing trying.
Welcome one another as Christ Jesus welcomed you.
Wait, you got a personal welcome from Jesus Christ? Because if I were to welcome others the same way he welcomed me, that's like not actually a welcome at all. Like, I'd never speak to him, ever. I'd not be there.
Since Christ died for your brother, surely he is welcome.
their grammar's killing me here. Are they saying that Christ is welcome because he died for your brother?
So, folks, thanks again for watching. Don't forget to like and comment and subscribe to both of our channels if you haven't. And remember that every time you see an ex-Jehovah's Witness video, give it a like. It helps to get it out there. It helps to spread the good news, so to speak.
Spread the bad news.
Spread the bad news. So spread the unwitnessing far and wide into the whole earth. Our sound must go out. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of another one, from house to house, from door to door.
Although, in light of the pandemic, from screen to screen, from phone to phone.
We're writing letters.
Yeah, there you go. So, thanks again, everybody, and thank you, Bridget.
Bye, guys. Thank
and
you.
We'll see you guys on the next episode of Your Childhood Drama.